Welcome to Deer Feed. I'm Renee.
And I'm Jess.
And we're the Deerfoot Sisters. And this is our 17th take of this intro today.
We're having some difficulties because my MacBook is old and laggy. And
so, hashtag send us money. Hashtag ain't too proud to beg. If you want more quality content. That sounds better. Anyway, this week we're going to be talking about Girl Scouts. Girl Scouts is an organization we've been involved with for a very long time. And just this past week, we actually received a couple of awards from the Girl Scouts.
Yes. We both received our 20-year pins, even though I've actually been in the Girl Scouts for 26 years. But
they only give the pins out in 5-year increments anyway.
I should have gotten a 25-year pin is the point.
Right.
But I'll get one next year. And then a couple years after that, I'll get my 30-year pin. Renee got her 20-year pin. You've been in for like 23 years or something.
Yeah, 22.
And we also got Volunteer of Excellence awards.
Yes, we did.
Because we were nominated for those.
Yep.
Because we're excellent volunteers.
So everything we got was pins. Just lots of pins. Girl Scouts love pins. So we got some cute pins. One that says 20 and one that says Volunteer of Excellence.
Yes. So the Girl Scouts is a great organization. Obviously, Renee and I have been involved with it for so long because we strongly believe in the mission. Mm-hmm. So we're going to share with you the mission of Girl Scouting, which is Girl Scouting builds girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place.
Right, right.
And recently, they've done some interesting marketing stuff. So they've taken the word girl and made it into an acronym that stands for go-getter, innovator, risk-taker, leader. Mm-hmm. So basically saying that sorry, a text message just came through, a private text message just came through on my MacBook that Renee had to read.
It wasn't really that private.
Thank you very much. What did it say?
That he's at the gym with his dad.
Oh my God, what if he listens? I was going to know it was from him. Anyway.
I didn't say his name.
So,
you could be talking to lots of guys who go work out with their dads.
Oh my God. Okay. So anyway, basically what it's saying is that these are girls. These are things girls can be, things girls can do, and that Girl Scouting is there to help develop these girls.
Right. And another thing about Girl Scouts is they're not, like, so particular about things like grammar. Like, for example, Jess said they say that this acronym stands for go-getters, risk-takers, or innovator, risk-taker, and leaders. But she actually wrote that it stands for go-getter, innovator, risk-taker, letter.
Actually, I said risk-taker.
Yeah, risk-taker.
Risk-taker.
So these are our girls are risk-takers. Yeah, so, you know, it's okay to have, like, a little leniency from now and then to forgive your fellow Girl Scouts.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. We also have a really nice t-shirt, too, that says these, and every time I wear it, people are like, oh, I love your t-shirt. And I'm like, thanks. My mom got it at the conference.
It's really great. I mean, we also have been involved for a long time with the YMCA, which is another great charitable organization. And I think it's cool that those organizations are so large that they have, like, really great marketing teams and they can develop these, like, really cool marketing materials that...
Yes. They're better
really
marketing than us.
Than we are. I know.
They have a whole team devoted to it. People actually get paid to do it. So, yeah, it's really nice. So one thing that I love about Girl Scouts, or, like, just every time I think about Girl Scouts, I think about the Girl Scout law, which is the little mantra that they recite. And I'll tell you guys it in a second. But in our troop, we've, you know, when the girls were quite young as daisies, it's part of it is, like, learning about the law and dissecting what the law means and how they can enact all of those different principles. And it's really just an excellent mantra for any person. You don't even have to be a girl, but, you know, girls need that girl power too. So you want to say the law, Jess? We can say it together.
Yes, but I always, like, forget. I always, like, leave one part out. So don't get too mad if I do that.
Okay.
Okay.
I feel like you have to do the fingers.
So the Girl Scout symbol is holding up your right hand with your 3 middle fingers together.
Yes.
And I will do my best
to be honest and fair, friendly and helpful, considerate and caring, courageous and strong, and responsible for what I say and do. And to respect myself and others, respect authority, use resources wisely, make the world a better place, and be a sister to every Girl Scout. So yeah, that's the law, and it's like I said, it's a great mantra to live by. When I talk to my students at school about like classroom expectations and rules, our ultimate one is like respect, which I think kind of is the fundamental foundation for every rule. Like if you are a respectful person, you're going to naturally do all of those other rules. You're going to take responsibility. You're going to be helpful when. Okay, sorry, experiencing technical difficulties again. So anyway, like I was saying, one of my favorite lines in the Girl Scout law is to respect myself and others. And I think that's so important for girls, especially like our troop right now, our girls are like 11 years old. They're in middle school. And that is a time where a lot of girls drop out of the Girl Scouts. But it's also a time I feel like where they really would benefit from staying in, because you just learn how to really become comfortable with yourself. And I know that a lot of the girls I've had in high school who like are Girl Scouts through to the end, they kind of just have this self-confidence that you don't really see in a lot of teenage girls. So I think that's a really important one.
And I use this phrase a lot, so sorry if you've heard it and you're just like, oh my God, think of a newer phrase again. But I feel like it develops girls who have conviction in their values.
Yeah.
So just, yeah, like you're saying, the confidence to know who they are and be who they are without apology.
Exactly.
So it's pretty awesome.
Of course, it's all about like helping the world too. So it's not like they discovered who they were and who they were. It's like an evil villain.
Yeah,
like they discover
jerks.
themselves as like a good person, and then they try to help. And yeah, so the thing about Girl Scouts that's really awesome too is that it can be anything you want to make it. So there's not like one set formula that you have to follow. There's like not a set curriculum. You can be as involved or as disengaged as you want to be. It's really just up to the individual girl or the troop that she's in.
And you can be like any kind, like your troop will pretty much decide together typically what you want to do. There's a lot of different badges that can be earned and awards that can be earned. But also, if your troop just wants to get together and do fun stuff, that's fine too. Like our roommate was in a troop that was a mariner troop, so they did sailing, and they would actually go on these like overnight sailing trips, and that was the whole thing that their troop would do. So that's like another way that it could go, and it's just really awesome because you can cater it to anything that you like.
Right.
And there's a lot of data on like all the outcomes for girls that are the positive outcomes that come from Girl Scouting and from just being empowered by a group of women and having women role models. And even if you look at like women in leadership roles in the country, like they're typically Girl Scouts, and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So way to go, girls. Girl power.
So during Renee's wedding, I had to give a speech as her maid of honor, and I basically started talking about her and how amazing she is, and then I started to recite the Girl Scout law, which was pretty funny. She got it, and then you gave the symbol, so I think one of the photographers caught you holding up the Girl Scout symbol. I think
Probably.
About 8 people in the audience laughed because they got the joke.
Right.
And then everyone else was like, why are you laughing?
Because she was just
nice
like saying,
qualities.
She's considerate and caring. She's courageous and strong. She's friendly and helpful. Like whatever the order is. I can't do it when I'm not chanting with my hand up. But yeah, so that was like pretty funny inside joke. And then what else? There's like a lot of different stuff that Girl Scouts can do. And like there's a lot of people who are involved with Girl Scouts may have experiences that they might not have otherwise had the chance to have, which I think is really important. When I was in, was it like 7th grade?
Yeah, I think you were I think you were in 7th grade.
So I did what was called a wider op. It was like for wider opportunity. And basically it was like it was sort of like a camp type thing, but it wasn't exactly. So I was flown down to Tampa, Florida, and we did
Western Florida.
Yeah, for those of you who aren't familiar with Florida's geography. So we went to a couple of different places, and we were like meeting with people about different types of jobs that they have there and like behind the scenes stuff. So we went to Busch Gardens, and we got to go like behind the scenes and check out like some of the animals because they have their like animal park, whatever it's called. We saw this cool African cat that like came right up to us. And
what was it called?
It was called a serval, and we were like able to pet it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like if it came
was
to
it
you.
Soft?
It was like a regular cat, yeah.
So soft.
Pretty soft, yeah. And then we went to this place called Weechee Watchee Springs, and that's like a spring-fed lake, and there's these mermaids there, the Weechee Watchee mermaids, and they do a show. So basically, it's just these girls dressed up with tails, and they
real mermaids?
they like have them as sort of in this tank. It's like a viewing area, and then they don't wear scuba gear, but they have like tubes off to the side, so they just like do their little show, and then they go off to the side and like suck on some air. And then they go back and keep performing. It's kind of weird, but it's pretty cool. And we saw a lot of manatees there, which was pretty awesome.
Wait, wild manatees?
Yeah. Well, are there domesticated manatees?
I mean, were they in the wild when you saw them?
Yeah. We went on a boat like through this lake in Weechee Watchee, and we were able to see manatees.
Were you allowed to swim in it?
Yeah, in the springs. And they said sometimes the manatees come up to the springs, but they didn't come up to where we were.
But you went swimming?
Yeah, we also went swimming there.
Was it cold?
No, it's Florida. It was hot. And the water's extremely clear, so you could, like, open your eyes, and it didn't even feel like you were underwater.
Like, I guess glacial.
Yeah, no, it's not glacial. There's no glaciers in Florida right now, so.
I know, but I guess I was thinking, like, why is Lake Tahoe so cold?
Because it's glacial, and it's at a high altitude. But this water is spring-fed.
Low altitude. And also a low altitude. Isn't it?
A low altitude?
Yeah, isn't like all of Florida really low altitude?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Lake Tahoe still. I'm like, no, it's at a high altitude. And you're like, and also a low altitude. And I'm like, no, a high altitude. It's in the mountains. All right, that was confusing. But yeah, it was like nice. And the thing that was really cool about it was like I was 12, right? I flew on a plane by myself. It was an unaccompanied minor.
Unaccompanied minor.
And we stayed at this naval base. So we had like dorms, and it was like, I didn't go with anyone I knew. So everyone I met there, the first night we stayed with like a host family. And then the following days we stayed in the dorms.
Wait, tell them about the skimpy bathing suit that you had. Do you remember that?
No. I don't think that was here.
No, it was. It was on your wider op because the first night you stayed with a host family, and I think it was you and like a couple of girls, right? Like two or three.
Yeah, there was like 2 other girls.
And they had a pool, right? Mm-hmm. And you were wearing a bikini. And basically they emailed mom to say that like you had a really skimpy bikini. It was like that like light blue one that you had that was like a string bikini. It was just like a classic string bikini.
Yeah, I don't get that. Like, I don't know.
I mean, you were basically a child with like a child's
12.
body.
I can't just wear a 2-piece bathing suit.
You're probably 13 because our girls are in 6th grade and they're all turned 12. So they'll be 13 next year.
Okay. Well, it was the summer, so it's probably 12.
But it was 7th grade. Like, you were probably going into
12 to 13. Whatever. But either way, I'm like, it shouldn't matter what kind of bathing suit you're wearing.
You had, as one of the moms at your diving team said, what did they say? Your little buds? Your breast buds? They were like, oh, she has nice little buds.
Oh, when I was like 10.
No, you didn't dive when you were 10.
Yeah, that's when I started
diving.
In
Westfield?
No, it wasn't in Westfield. It was before that at the NAC or wherever it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. Fine.
Anyway, it's not relevant.
The point is you've never had super large breasts. So you could wear a string bikini and it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Right. It's not like I was like falling out of...
a string bikini and people are like, that's trampy. It's like, it's a child.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. I mean, I probably wouldn't put my infant in a string bikini because that just seems unnecessary. But I get what you're saying.
Well, like, sometimes the tops are strings. They're cute.
That's true.
Like
that's
those
true.
Those little Hawaiian ones Nana used to get us.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, we have a picture of you. I mean, you're not really an infant because you're like 15 or... You're probably like 18 months, right? Mm-hmm. And she's wearing a string bikini that our grandma got us from Hawaii. But it's like shifted over and all her nipples are out.
All my nipples. So you guys might not know, but I have quite a few in there. So now you know. Yeah, all my nipples were out. It's like 16 of them.
Side note, platypuses don't have nipples.
Weird. They just have like milk pouches or something.
They have like
right?
milk sacs, and then the babies just like lap at the sacs. And then milk comes
love
out.
Lapping at sacs. It's my
Ew,
favorite pastime.
Gross. Don't let your husband.
Anyway, yeah, so like that was a really cool opportunity, a wider opportunity that I got to go on. And it was almost entirely funded through my council. So because of the fact that I was in a council that had, a decent amount of money.
And they offered like scholarships.
They offered financial assistance and scholarships.
Yeah.
So since I was accepted, I think we ended up paying like $17 for me to fly to Florida and stay there for like a week. And all the food and stuff was included. So that was really a pretty awesome trip. It was probably the first time I ever traveled that far away on my own. So
yeah,
pretty cool.
I mean, that's pretty amazing. I was obviously super jealous. I had applied for wider ops, but I didn't get into any cool ones. I think the one I got into was like a summer camp in Wisconsin. I wanted to go, but my mom was like, it's not worth it. It's not really any different than like camp you would go to here. But I was like, but I want to go somewhere cool.
Yeah, like Wisconsin. Like
yeah, I just wanted to go somewhere new. And she was like, no. But I mean, it's fair because it was like, it still would have cost money. We didn't know necessarily like how much financial aid we would get or whatever.
Yeah.
Because then when Renee was in high school, through her school, she went to England.
Yes.
So, of course, I was also jealous about that.
Yeah, now my high schoolers this year are going to Tanzania.
Wow.
On World Challenge. I want to somehow sign up for that. And then some of my high schoolers...
Oh, yeah.
The chorus,
that was not on the thing.
The chorus, like, they went over spring break, they went on, like, a cruise to the Bahamas. And I'm like, okay, how do I get to be the chaperone for that trip?
Was it one of your coworkers to shop? I mean, obviously, but...
all of my coworkers, all of the chaperones were my coworkers.
They invited every single teacher in the district except for you.
Yeah. No, there was another science department member was a chaperone, but it's because he's a boy, and they needed a boy chaperone. I mean, technically he's a man, I guess. Sorry if you're listening. Anyway, so they needed a male chaperone, so he got chosen. He's a patron of the arts.
So speaking of summer camp, another fun thing that we did with Girl Scouts, or the Girl Scouts can do, is summer camp. So we have gone to summer camp our basically entire lives. We started going to camp that was not a Girl Scout camp. It was a co-ed sleepaway camp that was honestly super duper fun. It was also really probably really fun just because it was really long sessions. It was 3-week sessions where you did not go home for 3 weeks, which is like a lot of time. And we were like 8 years old. You say you were like younger, but you were 8 because you couldn't go 7. Before you were 8. Okay, you might have been 7, but the first time I went, I was 8, and then Renee stayed home with our mom. But then we went to day camp for a couple years, and then we went back. I was in 5th grade. You were like in 2nd grade, I guess. Mm-hmm. And, it was really fun. And then after that, we always went to Girl Scout camp. And our brother went to, like, some other camp.
Yeah.
But the Girl Scout camp was, like, 1 or 2 week sessions. Mm-hmm. And they were every session was themed.
Yeah, but sometimes I feel like the counselors didn't really adhere to the theme very well.
Yeah, so, like, one of the themes that was always fun for, like, the older girls, because by the time we went to Girl Scout camp, I was what's considered a cadet. And then I guess I was probably a senior. I think I went, like, for one when I was in, like, 9th grade. But a cadet is basically 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So I was, like... It still is. Oh, okay. So I was, like, a middle schooler. And basically, it was called Night Owl. So you were supposed to, like, stay up late and do stuff at night.
Sometimes they took you on trips, like, to see jobs that are operating at night. Like, didn't they take you to, like, a...
Well, yeah, jail, so let me explain.
Okay.
So the one time we had it, and we stayed up till, like, 11 o'clock at night. But, like, quiet. I feel like lights out was like 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it wasn't
not
even
that late. So
it was like cool. And then the idea too is like you're allowed to wake up late, so you like don't ever go to breakfast. You just go to lunch because you wake up at like 10:30 or 11. So but it was like these people just weren't fun. And then you're supposed to do a prank, and our prank was really stupid. I don't know. They didn't really like feed into it. And it was one of like the more fun, like cool kind of ones you could do. Yeah. And then I went with another group where it was a lot more fun. We stayed up till like 3 a.m. every night, and they planned almost every single day. We went on field trips. Like we went to visit a park ranger at night. We went to a police station. We actually went to like a small airport that was nearby, and we got to go inside like the cockpit and stuff. Nice. And it was super, super fun. And then we went to Walmart, and that was like, everyone was like, Walmart!
Did you buy stuff?
Yeah, I think we might have, or we just, like, wanted to roam around and, like, flirt with boys, because, you know, there's no boys at Girl Scout camp, so we were like, boys! Oh, my God!
Yeah, which I kind of like.
Oh, no, and do you remember, we also did a haunted house.
Yeah.
And it was, like, a haunted trail.
But wasn't that for Barn Theater?
No. The reason that we had less people come to our haunted trail was because I think there was a Barn Theater. I think you were in Barn Theater or something, and the show was that night. I don't know. So, anyway, but we did, like, a haunted trail where we actually, like, had the campers come, and it was, like, a spooky haunted house through our campsite thing.
Yeah, and that camp was really fun. I mean, honestly, I highly recommend sleepaway camp for children. I think it's an excellent experience that you don't really get anywhere else. It's obviously scary for a lot of kids, especially if they're not used to spending time away from home. But, I don't know, we never really got homesick, but other people obviously do. But I would say you should try it out with your kid. You know, like maybe just sign them up for a week 1 year, because if they do like it, there's really just no other experience like it. It's just so amazing.
Also, I think so much research is showing that kids just like really lack resilience these days. And that's
true.
the kind of thing that those kinds of experience will force your kids to be more resilient and to be more self-sufficient.
Right.
Because, I mean, nowadays, obviously, there's much more communication. So I know at a lot of summer camps today, sleepaway camps, you can actually send emails to your kid. And they don't, like, let them respond via email, I don't think. But what they'll do is they actually print the emails out and give them to your kid. Which you might think, oh, but then my kid's just getting a typed-up letter. Well, back in the 90s, when we went to sleepaway camp, our mom actually typed up our letters.
Yeah, probably just sent the same one, a form letter to all 3 kids, and just signed it at the bottom with her pen.
She would write, like, how's your friend? Insert friend's name here.
Yeah.
And then she would, like, look back and write whoever we had said was our friend or whatever.
Yeah. So we would get letters. And
then, yeah, she would say, love, Mom, and then she would sign, Mom.
Yeah, like, we weren't sure who it was. And that's so another cute benefit if you, you can get away from your kids for a week to 3 weeks if they're at sleepaway camp. And it's really just, it's very fun. And like Jess said, it teaches the resilience. And like, they say it's important for kids to have unsupervised, like, or slightly supervised play. So basically, cooperative play is going to teach kids the skills they need, like compromise and how to be assertive and how to go with the flow. So if you are in a camp setting, your kids are supervised, but there's definitely times where they're not directly being supervised. At least at our camps, and every camp I've had experience with, when, like, usually counselors aren't sleeping in the tents with you. If it's a cabin, yes, maybe, but if you're in platform tents like we were, or...
Sorry, it cut out again. So, we might have to take a hiatus earlier than we planned to. This might be the last episode of season 1 for this podcast.
Hopefully not, but we'll see.
But basically what Brene was saying, I don't know.
Renee or Bird? Get it
basically what Brene was saying is that the kids are going to have some time by themselves or able to, like, be interacting without the
right, where they can sort of navigate the dynamics of a relationship without constantly just being like, I'm gonna tell. It's like they have to figure it out, because otherwise they're not going to be able to be engaged. So
there's some stuff that's interesting though that happens at camp, or like
yeah. So when I was looking back on camp, I'm like, that was weird. So a couple of things that happened, like, at the Girl Scout camps we went to. First off, like, a lot of camp songs are very morbid, right?
Yeah. So we worked at a camp, and then we would sing songs, and a lot of the other counselors would just be like, oh. Yeah. And like, all right, it's just nature. Because like the one, it's talking about a moose that dies, and then he decomposes.
Yeah.
And then there's actually a lot where animals die. One, like, the animal gets murdered.
Wait, which one?
Bill Grogan's goat.
Well,
then you, like, say that, well, he's gonna, like, the guy wants to murder him.
And also in the Froggies, they get murdered and mutilated in a variety of ways.
Yeah, and then people are like, oh, that's horrible, but
it ends with saying you should be nice to the Froggies.
Yeah.
So, you're not actually supposed to murder them. But yeah, there's a lot of death.
Yeah, and there was one song that was like a hiking song that talks about streaking.
Yeah.
And nothing but your tennis shoes.
Hey, you knuckleheads streaking down the avenue and nothing but your tennis shoes. And then you go,
honk, honk, knuckleheads, beep, beep, knuckleheads,
oh, wooga, wooga, knuckleheads. And I'm, like, thinking about it, and I'm like, that's creepy. So, like, with the hiking songs, the point is you say the refrain, like, you'll say whatever that, beep, beep, knuckleheads, or wooga, wooga, knuckleheads, and then you'll say a number, like, 10 more miles and we'll be there, and that means you have to sing it 10 more times, and the goal is, like, you're trying to get the perfect number for where you're going. So if you, like, know that where you're going is only a short walk, maybe it's only 3 more miles, and then you, like, if you get it right, you're all excited, like, woohoo, we got it exactly right. But, yeah. And then there was another song, too, like, about chickens, and it's, like, it's just kind of creepy because
like a chicken noise.
It's like, there was this rooster I had a chicken
No eggs he laid.
No eggs he laid. I had a chicken. No eggs she laid.
Yeah, whatever.
Until that rooster came in our yard and caught that chicken completely off guard, which is just like a little raunchy. And then it's like it continues with lots of other things that are then puns on eggs. Like I had a gas station, no gas it gave, but then it's eggs on or shell. I had a gumball machine, no gum it gave, until the rooster caught it off guard, and then it gave chiclets. And like lots of other cute puns like that. So it's kind of like rapey and weird, but you know, you don't think of that when you're a kid, and they're just fun. Like when I was a kid singing "Hey You Knuckleheads," I wasn't like, "Oh, people are looking at us while we're naked." Like it was just a song. It's just words.
Yeah.
You know, so it was fun. But then we don't really sing those ones anymore. We've modified the words.
Yeah, or they wouldn't sing like the song, the Gigolo song. They changed it.
Yeah, Gigolo. They changed it to
Bungalow. But then some people say popsicle. That's what Finn says.
Popsicle. Yeah, so it's
but
interesting.
Yeah, and then
what?
No, that's just like the Flash Players opening or something.
Okay, weird.
Another
thing though about camp songs is like it's really annoying because okay. So this is like a side note into Girl Scouts. Back to Girl Scouts. When I was like 11 or 10, I think it was 11. I went to this leaders training with my mom. So it was like a place where all these Girl Scout leaders were going to be trained on like outdoor skills to do with their girls. And I was 11 and I ran a session on how to sing camp songs. So I was teaching them about like the best practices for singing camp songs. And then all the ladies are like, she's so poised, she's so amazing, she's only 11 and she led a group of adults. And then they were like, you should make a CD and we can bring it to our other people and make a videotape of yourself. This is a long time ago. So some of my rules for good camp song etiquette, first of all, is be loud. Secondly is be enthusiastic. You need to be really enthusiastic when you sing camp songs. Okay, it's not cool to sing a camp song well or, with rhythm. You just need to sing it loud and enthusiastically. One time I heard this described as throat-ripping singing. That's what you want to be doing, right? So then the next thing is to follow along with whoever is leading the song. So if it is a repeat after me song, repeat what the person says and engage in the motions. But a lot of times there's songs like, for example, Tarzan is a song that we sing, and we know like a different variation than a lot of other people. So like sometimes we'll sing the variation we know, and then they sing back the words that they know. And I'm like, this was a repeat after me song, not a repeat after me with improvisations. So that is annoying. Like if you're singing a camp song, if someone has a different version, if they're the person leading it, just follow what they're doing. If you want to sing your version, then you can lead the camp song.
Exactly.
That's my personal feeling about it. But yeah, I love camp songs. They're so fun. And my mom used to always love picking me up from camp. And she's like, I would pick her up and she would have no voice at all. And I'd be like, I had a great week at camp. We were taking this and this. And she's like, it's so great. I'm like, yeah, so you didn't see me for 3 weeks and then you didn't even want to hear my voice when you saw me. Okay.
No, I think she just knew that you had a great time.
Yeah, she just knew we had a lot of
ripping time.
Yeah.
All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take a slight commercial break. It's a lot of time again.
Oh, actually, one more thing before the break. If you are a camp counselor or work with children, just sing the songs and sing them every day because it's super cute. The kids love songs and they love repetition. And when you're a parent and you have a child who goes to camp and then they come home and they're like singing the songs, then you feel a little more connected to the camp. Like, oh, my kid actually did something today. Even though when I asked them, they said they didn't do anything. They at least learned this new song.
And they can tell that they like the camp.
Right.
Because they sing the songs.
Yeah, because they're thinking about it at home.
Okay,
right,
we'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
This week's podcast is brought to you by the Beefy Boys. Just 3 cool dudes hanging out, talking about sports, video games, music, and whatever else they feel like. Find them at their website, www.beefyboys.com. Also, where you find your other podcasts, iTunes, Podbean, YouTube, all the regulars. The Beefy Boys, the best show on planet Earth.
We'd also just like to clarify that this podcast isn't really brought to you by the Beefy Boys.
Yeah, they don't really do anything.
We tried to tell our brother that...
They do criticize us a lot.
He said that it's brought to you by them because, I guess what he's saying, because he plays our ad, so it's like free advertisement is
so
like
we have
his
a barter
payment
system?
To us.
Also, like, it's kind of brought to you by them because, like, we might not have done a podcast if they didn't do it. So
They're our inspiration.
the impetus for this cast. I have a really bad headache right now. Oof. All right,
Headache
continuing
central.
on, forging forward.
All right, so now we're going to talk about some misconceptions associated with Girl Scouting. So I'm going to start with a little story. It's Aunt Jess story time. Actually, earlier, what did you say? Ristaker? So I have a child that is a baby doll.
I was like, you have a child? So yes, this is literally, she's not saying describing her baby as a doll. It's just literally a plastic
It's literally
and
a doll
cloth baby
that I had when I was a child that I found. And his name is Jeffacarfuff because it's basically my name with F's in place of all the S's. So instead of Jessica Rafus, it's Jeffacar. It's like Jeffica Rafuff, but it's Jeffacarfuff is how it's pronounced.
Yes.
And my mom is like incapable of pronouncing it properly. And like everybody knows me. No, I'm very passionate about this. I need to yell. Everybody that knows me knows how to pronounce my son's name.
Jeffacarfuff.
Yeah.
And he goes by Jeffy.
His nickname is Jeffy, so I'm like, just call him Jeffy.
Yeah.
And anyway, but she was trying. So we were just in the car, like, I'm like, Jeffacarfuff. I'm like, it's car in the middle. And she's like, Jeffacar. F-F. And I'm like, Mom, you want to say
Jeffacarfuff.
You want to say Jeffica Rafuff, but it's not. It's Jeffacarfuff. The last part is different because it's supposed to become its own name.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Naturally.
That was a side note that I was thinking of before.
Okay.
So
misconceptions about Girl Scouts.
A couple of years ago, at our friend's wedding, Renee and I gave a little toast at the rehearsal. It was actually at the rehearsal dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things we said in the toast was that we loved the groom-to-be, even though he didn't like camping, because our friends used to go camping every year.
Yes.
So then I was chatting with our real, like, original friend was the bride. Where I would assume we're friends with both of them now, but
yes, it's been established we're friends with the other one now too.
Oh, right.
He's
First it was
graduated from husband
to friend to friend. Okay.
And then sometimes he gets demoted.
No, then sometimes she becomes wife of friend.
Yeah.
Because we're more friends with him.
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot about that whole thing. Anyway, so I was talking with the groom's cousin, and I said, and he kind of said that he thought it was a cute toast, like not bad or anything, and sometimes they're really bad or something like that. And then I was saying how we really do go camping every year, but the last time we went, we got very intoxicated, and we woke up the next morning and we had left food all over the place. There was like a bunch of marshmallows in our fire pit, and it was really bad because we had seen a mama bear and 3 cubs the day before, so we were just like, oh man, that was really dangerous. Like, some bears could have come to our campsite and mauled us, especially the babies. They don't know what they're doing much.
So not one for mauling, really.
Well, yeah, but if they came near us, then Mama would maul, whatever.
True.
We were like, darn, that was really dangerous. That was dumb. And then I said that basically I knew how to camp. I was like, but I do know how to camp. I'm a Girl Scout. And his response wasn't like, wow, that's awesome. He said, Girl Scouts is a BS organization.
A bologna sandwich.
I was like, what? And he's like, all that they care about is domesticating women and teaching them how to cook and clean. And I was like, what? Like, what?
Yeah, like, what world do you live in?
It was so strange. I was like, what are you talking about? So I'm like, that's not true. And then I tried to, like, say all this stuff, and he just kind of, like, put his hand up and was like, you're not going to change my mind, so let's just end this conversation.
And then she comes over to me, and she goes, come to the bathroom with me. And I was like, okay. So I go to the bathroom, and she's like, did you know that he hates Girl Scouts? And I'm like, this is why you brought me to the bathroom?
No, your response was, just let it go. Because I was like, oh my God, he just told me that he hates the Girl Scouts. And you were like, just let it go. And I was
like, as a Girl Scout, I can recognize a losing battle and decide that there's some things that, you just want to set a good example, and then he'll maybe realize when he gets to know you later, like, we'll see us at the reception dancing, and he'll be like, those girls sure look cool. My opinion of Girl Scouts has been completely morphed by this revelation.
Oh my gosh, that's probably exactly what happened.
And he'll be like, well, they're definitely not domesticated. They're wild girls.
Girl, that's what you want.
Yeah, but that's dumb. And I was saying to Jess, I don't know if that's really a common misconception. Maybe it is, but she just said
It's
this
called
is just
misconceptions,
not common misconceptions. So,
but
yeah.
wait, no, I have to just finish this up.
Okay, well, I have to go to the bathroom anyway, so
okay.
you can talk while I leave.
So, what I ended up doing was trying to let it go. Like, I didn't get into it with the cousin, but basically anytime I was chatting with anybody at the wedding, if he would walk by, I would say to that person, he hates the Girl Scouts. And then later that night, after the reception was over and we were back at the hotel and everyone was like hanging, he was young, so he was one of the people like hanging out after. He said something like, why do you keep telling everyone that I hate the Girl Scouts? And I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I was pretty drunk and like, I just don't understand why you do. And then we just kind of like agreed to disagree and made our peace. But I was like, yeah, I can't let things go. I mean, I didn't get into it with him, which was good, but it was like every time we'd walk by, it like reminded me that he hated Girl Scouts, and I was like, he hates the girl, and people would be like, what? Why? And I'm like, I don't know. He's also probably like, I don't hate them, I just don't like them. So the other misconception that I've heard actually several times is that the Girl Scouts as an organization is just out to get money. So Renee was kind of curious about this one, but basically I've talked to some people, I've talked to people who aren't involved with Girl Scouting at all, who say that, and they're like, all they do is sell cookies, which I guess kind of is like another misconception that that's all they do.
Yeah.
Definitely. But another mom I talked to, because you have to pay every year to register as a Girl Scout, or you can get a lifetime membership, which Renee and I have. But then you also have to pay dues to like your service unit, and you have to
Troop. Well,
yeah, and usually you pay dues to your troop. I think our troop has enough money we don't charge dues anymore because we our girls have earned enough money. But then I think also this one mom was telling me basically she feels like the amount of money that the council keeps from cookie sales, like how much money the girls actually earn per box of cookies, isn't enough. But the thing is,
which is kind of understandable, I guess, but
yeah, I get it. But the thing is, like, Girl Scouts is, it all kind of like loops around, I guess, because, well, it's a little bit different than like when we used to work at, like when I worked at the YMCA, and people, like I worked at a couple different YMCAs, and people get really hung up on their budgets. And we would be one organization, and like both organizations I worked in had a few different branches, and they would get really hung up on like their budgets, or some branches might not bring in as much money, or we might even have programs that lose money, but the other programs make enough money to cover it. And I was just always like, all this money rolls into our organization, so like, who really cares? Like, they would get hung up on stuff like, oh, well, if you use the pool or something, or you use the gym, and like I cover the cost of like the replacement of the gym floor, you have to put this. And I'm like, I get that ultimately like the finance department will come down on you if your budget is really off, but also like I feel like the finance department can also look at the bigger picture. But with Girl Scouting, it's a little different. So with the money the Girl Scout Council makes, they're able to like provide scholarships to girls who can't afford the membership dues, or they can provide programs at little to no cost to the girls.
Right.
But it's like, if your troop doesn't partake in any of those programs, then you might, yes, be losing money, but you're also making the world a better place by allowing other girls to participate in that
and
stuff.
Being a sister to every Girl Scout.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like, we've always been very much of the mindset of, like, the girl, when it comes to, like, troop dues or whatever, or, like, earning money from cookies, it's not necessarily, like, an individual's like, oh, well, I sold X amount of cookies, so I have this much money. It's like, no, if this is troop money, it's just for the troop. And then anytime someone needs it, that's the person who's going to get it, you know?
Which I think that's actually, I don't think you're allowed to allocate it individually. I think that's against the Girl Scout, like, bylaws or whatever. Right. I don't know how you say it.
So, like, it's nice because, like, if you really think of it that way, like, if the members of your troop are your sisters, then why wouldn't you want to just share with them and help them when you can?
Exactly.
Right? And if you need the support, then they'll support you. So it's like...
And it's a team effort.
Yeah, it's just like it's about everyone enjoying everything as much as they can.
Exactly. So, yeah. And also, I always like to point out that the Girl Scouts actually have two fundraisers. Two, I guess, entrepreneurial...
Yes, we have nuts and magazines, too.
So, in the winter, usually, they sell cookies. You think it was sometime January to February, and then booth sales in like March. But in the fall, we have the fall product sale, we call it, and we sell nuts and candy, and also magazine subscriptions. So if you have a magazine that you subscribe to, you can renew it through your favorite Girl Scout, and she can get credit for it.
Right.
But also the nuts and candy, I think it's much tastier than the cookies, personally.
Well, yeah, but people love Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, that's true.
Some of the nuts and candies are good, but like I have some chocolate covered almonds in my pantry, and that's like, it's just too much chocolate to almond ratio. I know it sounds weird, but
I get the honey roasted mixed nuts, and it was quite delicious.
yeah, those are good.
Also, like those caramel owls, I just think are so tasty.
No, the salted caramel caps are like
I'm obsessed
amazing.
with
They're
those.
really good. They're like probably one of my favorite
They're
candies.
okay.
If you're into sea salted dark chocolate caramels, they're superb.
Didn't you buy like 10 of them?
No, I bought like 2.
Oh, I thought that you wanted, like, one year you wanted extras, and then you, like, drove to the service center. And
No, I had to go to the service center for Mom, and then I think she bought me like a box that they had left over because she needed me to pick up like a scarf or something for her.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I was going there to get her scarf or whatever.
Anyway, so yeah, that's mostly everything we're talking about with the Girl Scouts. We're gonna
And like I don't know, the whole like misconceptions about Girl Scouts with all like saying that all they do is sell cookies, because a lot of people say that they're like, well, they're just selling cookies. I'm like, we sell cookies for like a month. Like, it's not, there's a lot of other things that you do. It's all about educating yourself. It's about having new experiences. It's about engaging with women who are leaders in their field, and just having really positive role models, and then becoming a positive role model yourself. So it's about so much more than just like selling cookies, which it's part of what we do, but some troops really don't even focus on cookie sales at all. Like,
plus, it's also it depends on how your troop does it, or how each individual girl does it, because it's supposed to really be a girl-led business.
Right.
But obviously, a lot of times what happens is the parents just bring the cookie sale form to work and leave it out on a table, and people sign up. But there are badges associated with the cookie sales, and they have one for every year of Girl Scouting.
Right.
So
you learn about marketing,
they learn about,
you learn about finances.
They learn about, there's like a financial literacy badge, and then there's one about like business. So there's always something about like, it's either about marketing or something. And like one of the things our girls did, I think it was when they were in 5th grade, is they met with, basically I think she was a person who did like small business loans at a bank. Mm-hmm. And she came in, and they each like had prepared business proposals, and they like presented their ideas for businesses they could make.
Right.
And she like listened to them and gave them feedback, and it was like pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it's like stuff like that
like,
they do. They're learning like skills they can use, and then when they actually sell the cookies themselves, they're learning obviously marketable skills there too.
Right. Like just even the ability to interact with adults.
Yep.
is like it's a skill that we I think kind of take for granted, because a lot of times this day and age we don't afford our kids opportunities to interact with adults because we just do it for them. Now, sometimes it backfires. Like, for example, my son, Finnegan, is not shy at all about talking to anyone. And sometimes I'll say to him, oh yeah, we're not going to drink out of that water fountain that's like a water cooler in someone's office, because that's, that's not for us, and we have water in the car. And then he'll turn around to someone who works there and says, oh, can I have a drink from that water cooler? And I'm like, did I just tell you we're not drinking out of that water cooler, that we're going to get our water in the car as soon as we leave? But water coolers are fun. But it was like in the back, like away. It wasn't like in the section where we were. It was like off, and like we had to like walk through cubicles to get there. And I'm like, we're not going to that.
Where was that?
It was like at one of his Boy Scout meetings. And I was like, but then he'll just ask the adults. But I mean, in other ways, it's good, because when we're like at the pool or something and he wants to like jump or dive in, and I'm like, you got to ask the lifeguard, and then he will. And people have a really hard time saying no to him.
Well, it's funny because he'll ask, like, and
which he's starting to realize.
Like a lot of times, kids will be like a parent will say, "Oh, ask," but like we were at this restaurant nearby last year, I think, or 2 years ago. I think it was last year, and we ordered tableside guac. Oh no, I think it was when we were at Spicy's actually.
Yeah.
So we were at Spicy's at the boardwalk, and we ordered tableside guac, and they actually do a lot of really fun stuff for kids there. So they give them, it's connected to like the Coin Castle arcade. So they give them like a goodie bag from Coin Castle, which has like credits and like actually even prizes that you can like win from the credits. So they like get prizes and credits to play games. And they asked him, do you want to help make the guacamole? So he helped. And then we were at this other restaurant, and someone ordered tableside guac, and he just was like, can I help make it? And the guy was like, okay.
Yeah, so then
he just like went up and helped make it. So, and it wasn't like, then we went another time, and I was like, I don't think he noticed it came, and I was like, are you going to help him make it? So I like prompted him. But the one time he just went up and asked himself. So like, it's just funny.
And are you talking about just like last weekend? Okay.
I prompted him that time.
Oh, okay.
But the time before that we went, he actually just asked without being prompted. And everyone was kind of like, okay.
But yeah, because
he's like done it before. So he's like, I guess people will let me do this.
Right.
So he like, why not ask?
And, you know, usually like they're so bemused that he would like ask in the first place that they're like, sure. Like,
yeah.
All right. And like, what are they going to be like, no, and then like crush his little spirit? So then sometimes I have to be the one that's like, no, I don't think so, buddy. You know, because like they don't want to say no. And I'm like, oh, you kind of put them in an awkward position. No one really wants to say no to like a 6 or 7-year-old. So
who's so cute.
Yeah. But he definitely knows it now, and he's like trying to get away with it more. Like
last weekend he was at our house, and our roommates had just put up like a little pool, like a 4-foot thing that was like mostly for the dog to cool off in the summer and stuff. And it wasn't really fully set up yet, and it had been filled with hose water, so it was really cold. And I mean, it was like 75 degrees still, but not really warm enough to go into freezing cold water. And it was night. It was getting to be nighttime, and he really wanted to go, so he kept asking my roommate if she had a bathing suit. And I'm like, why do you think she holds like a small boy's bathing suit at her house?
Yeah. And then he kind of just ended up going in. First he like got close to the edge, and then he like sort of like was putting his face into the water with his goggles, and I was like, buddy, don't go in, like it's pretty cold, like we don't have a suit. But then he's like, I'm just gonna take my shirt off because it got wet when I was leaning up against the thing. And I'm like, okay. So he takes his shirt off. Then he's sort of like sitting on the edge of the pool, and then he's got like both feet in the pool, and then he's just in it. And everyone's like, are you going to tell him to stop? I'm like, whatever. I'm like, he's making his decision. If he ends up being really cold, then maybe he'll like know next time not to do that. So then he got out, and he's like, I'm going to take my pants off because they're really wet. And I was like, that's fine. So then he was just hanging out in his underwear.
Then he was swimming a little bit in his underwear. Because I was like, just swim in your underwear. And then Renee's like, stop telling him to swim. It's cold.
Yeah. It was cold, but I mean, whatever. He was fine. He didn't get hypothermia. He survived. He swam for a little. He seemed happy. Really, honestly, it's pretty stupid. I should have just came and got his bathing suit because we live like 1 minute away from that house.
Also,
whatever.
they like showed you that it was there, so you could have just brought it to begin with.
Well, I told him to bring it. He didn't bring it.
Oh, so you actually did tell him to bring it?
I had told him, I was like, there's going to be a pool. If you want your bathing suit, bring it. And he was going to, but then it got colder, so he didn't bring it. So I was like,
oh, so I mean, if you would have let him go in, why didn't you just say, yeah, take your pants off and go
he
in?
doesn't really like to be in his underwear usually, though, in front of people.
That's true. Well, you could have said then, we'll dry it, but then he would have had to be in his underwear at some point, I guess.
Yeah. So
That's true. All right, so we're going to talk about what's popping at the movies.
popcorn. Corn pops. Imagine if they just had corn pops at the movies. Gotta have my
I thought they
pops.
were called corn puffs. Oh, no, they're called corn pops. Yeah.
Gotta have my puffs.
So Renee
Corn
has
puffs.
that Universal Yums box, and I don't know what they're called, but they're like basically like Cocoa Puffs, but they're like cheese doodle shaped, so they really just look like
Little pieces of poop.
geese poop.
Yeah, they're
Or-
from South Korea.
Some other kind of animal poop. They just really look like poop, though.
Well, they're from South Korea, and they taste like Cocoa Puffs, so they're fine. But yeah,
That's
they're Cocoa Puff in log form. Cocoa logs.
So, one movie we're going to talk about is Troop Beverly Hills, which is a great movie about scouting. It's, what are they? The wilderness scouts in that movie. So,
Yeah.
probably they could not get the Girl Scouts to approve them to use Girl Scouting
Probably not.
as it's trademarked. But, they
So we'll probably get sued for this podcast.
good point. But they used the wilderness scouts, and basically they were like, there's one troop that's like super
Prissy.
regimented.
Oh, that's the other troop, yeah.
Yeah, super regimented and like very like by the book and
Basically
has all
how
the merit
Mommy
badges.
runs her
Yeah.
meetings.
And then the other troop is very
Laissez-faire.
prissy, and they're from Beverly Hills, and they're very like, oh, we can't do anything, like we have to go glamping. But then they ended up like going on this adventure or this some kind of like
It was like a contest.
yeah, like
Sort of like
kind of
a
like the
amazing
amazing
race.
race. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what is it called?
The most race.
The most amazing race, I thought it was called. So anyway, we always would joke because basically our troop was like the Troop Beverly Hills. Like, we would have flag ceremonies every meeting, and
No, we're like the regimented troop.
yeah, that's what I mean. Sorry,
Yeah.
we're like the regimented troop from Troop Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
We're like the crazy troop, the ones that are super strict.
Yeah.
Because we'd have our flag ceremonies every meeting. Our girls would recite the Girl Scout Promise and Law.
Yeah, our girls like memorized the law when they were still daisies, which like most people barely know the promise. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so they know the law now, which is nice because then they can recite it.
Yeah.
So the other movie that we went to see this week, and we went to see it with Momily, was Palms, which is about basically Diane Keaton plays an older woman, and she moves into a retirement community, and in the retirement community you have to join a club, and she makes a friend who's Cheryl, who's played by Jackie Weaver, and the friend finds her like old cheerleading uniform. And so then she basically decides to make a cheerleading club.
Right. But they're all old.
So they're
ladies.
they're like elderly ladies living in their retirement community. And then Alicia Bowe plays Chloe. And she plays Jessica in the show 13 Reasons Why. But she's a cheerleader at the high school, and she basically ends up becoming their coach through a series of events.
Yes.
So I thought it was super cute.
It was cute.
There were funny parts.
It was like kind of corny. I feel like if you have a mom who's like middle aged, it's a great it would be really good probably.
Sorry.
What?
I was thinking about that lady that was sitting in front of us who was like cracking up. Like, she was like 2 seats away from me in front, and she had like dark hair, and somehow they were like leaning so far back in their chairs. I don't know. But she, like, was laughing hysterically throughout the whole movie. And I just kept thinking, like, it's not that funny. Like, I was looking at you, like, oh, my God, my stomach.
But anyway, I think, I think women who are maybe a little older would appreciate it very, very much. So if you have a mom or grandma, maybe you could take them. It's a good date movie with grandmas. Take your grandma on a date.
It was really cute. I thought it was really cute. How many thumbs would you give it?
I'd give it like 1 thumb up, 1.5 thumbs up, maybe.
Yeah, probably same.
1.25.
It was cute. There were funny parts.
Yeah, there was funny parts. I mean, it was like a lot of hijinks. Like, it was ridiculous, of course. Like, it wasn't like realistic.
Some of the stuff that happened.
Like with the retirement community, like the security officer and stuff. It's like very silly, but.
Well, he's more like just.
I mean, the whole
like
situation
the lady
is
who's
just
like the
goofy.
president or something.
Yeah.
And she's like.
And it did tackle some like serious issues of aging. Like, there's like one lady whose son is basically always saying like, you can't do these things, you can't do this, and like all this, and she's kind of like, no, I'm like a grown woman, I'm not a child. So
she's like, you think you can do these things, mommy, and you just can't.
Yeah, so it could open up some good discussions.
But what was the shirt? So then they got these cute shirts that they wore like to the competition before they changed into their uniforms.
Said, I can't keep calm, I'm a cheer coach.
Oh yeah, that was super cute.
Yeah, I was like, oh, those are so cute. And they were like glitter with megaphones.
I want to get that, even though like I'm not a cheer coach. I guess I could say I'm a cheer mom, even though I'm not a cheer mom.
You could say I can't keep calm, I'm a camp counselor.
That's true. That would be cute.
Or I'm a Girl Scout troop leader.
That's true. But the cheer one is just more like peppy. But the counselor thing might make more sense. Or the Girl Scout thing. But
so all of them?
whatever. Anyway. Alright, so we're going to wrap it up here. Do you have any final thoughts?
Oh, actually, yes, I do have a final thought. My thought is, when we went to this event last week and got our pins and pins, I was thinking that I regret very much the fact that I did not pursue my Girl Scout Gold Award. So if you are someone who's still in Scouts, do your Gold Award. It's pretty cool.
You regret it very much?
Yeah, I should have just done one.
Yeah, you should have.
I know.
But, I mean...
And some of the projects those girls did were so cool. I feel like they're much better now than they were even when we were younger.
Well, yeah, I think they're more stringent. And also, I think sometimes it's like... It also depends. I think...
It depends on your community needs and your skills, but I think nowadays...
I mean, and also it's like some people just go above and beyond. Like some of the stuff is really cool.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, they basically had all the girls who had earned them. They were like posters, and they were describing their projects, and it was really cool.
Yeah, so if you're in Girl Scouts or you're thinking about joining Girl Scouts, you should do it, and you should get your Gold Award, and it's a really cool thing to have later in life, and it just shows like a level of commitment and all those other values that we talked about.
And I'm not going to say, like, it gets you a job, but it's definitely something you can put on your resume, and people notice it and they're impressed by it. And there are definitely like a lot of scholarships that you can get for it. There's something having to do with the military, like some kind of increase in rank or something. I'm not really sure if that's still true. But there's all different like things associated with it. It's definitely like a recognized accomplishment.
Right.
All right.
It's a good one.
So, thank you for listening.
Oh, and also we should just really quickly say our favorite Girl Scout cookies, I feel like.
Oh.
So people probably want to know.
All right. I mean...
Your favorites are trefoils. Some kind of nerd.
Those are not my favorites. My favorites are Samoas.
That has never been your favorite before.
That's always been my favorite.
No, Do-si-dos were your favorite for a long time. And what you would do is you would pull apart the peanut butter patties and you would roll out the peanut butter from the middle into a big old ball and then eat that.
Yeah, that's a tasty way to eat Do-si-dos.
You just love eating peanut butter balls? Anyway, my favorite Girl Scout cookie is Samoa's, and it's always been. Not like you, some kind of
Your
traitor.
favorite is Samoa's?
Yes, and always
I thought
has.
your favorite was Tagalongs.
It's my second favorite.
Oh, interesting.
And I don't know what... there's different bakers, so
yeah,
if
Renee
you...
just said peanut butter patties, which is what Tagalongs are called from the other baker.
Okay, but I meant like the cookies.
Yeah, I know.
Because
You
the
meant the
Do-si-dos...
cookie part of the
What are
patty.
Do-si-dos called at that other baker?
They're called, I don't even know. They
Peanut
might
butter
be
sandwiches?
Called, yeah, I think they're called peanut butter. Yeah, it's so lame.
Yeah,
I'm
like so the one bakery, it's like Samoa's. The other one's called Coconut Delights.
Caramel Delights.
Oh, Caramel Delights. And then it's Tagalongs and peanut butter patties. Lame name. Thin Mints and Thin Mints is always
Yeah.
right. Truffle and Truffle is the same.
No, I think, are they called truffle? I think they're called
Or just like shortbread.
They're just called shortbreads.
They're so boring. Yeah, so that baker has like lame names. So if you're not sure, the Tagalongs are the peanut butter patties. That's my second favorite. Samoa's or Caramel Delights was my first.
Yeah. Same, actually.
Poser.
I mean, oh no, actually, now I really liked those Toffee-tastic ones.
Oh, the gluten-free.
Yeah, those were good. And also, I really liked okay, I guess the baker we don't use had lemon cookies that were just like sandwich cookies. Like, you get them at like ShopRite or something.
Lemon sandwich cookies?
Yeah.
You liked those?
No.
Oh.
I mean, I don't think I've really ever had them or care about them either way.
You like the other lemon ones, the Savannah Smiles?
Yeah, I like the Savannah Smiles, but I think they're not making them anymore. But they were like, they kind of looked like a scone almost.
Yeah, like a
But they
mini
were
little
tasty.
crescent.
Yeah, they were like kind of like a shortbready type of consistency with lemon flavor and like powdered sugar on top. Anyway, those were really good.
So now you guys know, because that's probably been the burning question all episode long, so now you have the answers you've been waiting for. You're welcome.
Yes. All right. So, anything else before you interrupt me while I try to finish our podcast?
No,
Good. Thanks.
I don't think so.
So, you can check us out on deerfootsisters.com, facebook.com/deerfeetpodcast, on Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube.
Oh, actually, I had one more thing.
Oh my God.
How can we talk about Girl Scouts and not talk about horse lovers?
Oh, yeah.
So,
oh my God.
in Girl
Oh my
Scouts,
God,
there's
sorry.
like a lot of different badges, and there was one badge that was called Horse Lover. Then later on, I guess in an attempt to be more PC, they converted the name of that badge from Horse Lover to Horse Fan. But what's really unusual is that they also changed the Music Lover badge to the Music Fan badge, so it can't be misconstrued the way in which you're loving music. But it could have been misconstrued the way in which you love horses.
Yeah, that was so funny.
So that's just the last part. Okay, any other plugs?
So, as I was saying, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, Deerfoot Sisters, and deerfootsisters@gmail.com is our email address.
Yeah, send us an email. We want to read an email.
So let us know what you're thinking. We're going to be winding down.
Wind up.
Wind up.
We're gonna be
winding
wrapping
down
up
this
season
season.
1 soon. So let us know your thoughts.
Anything you
And-
want to see during season 2?
or hear, preferably, because we don't really do visuals that much. And
We're still looking for someone to be our social media manager.
Unpaid
internship.
unpaid, but very much appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. We're the Deerfoot Sisters, and we're
prancing away.